ask yourself the damn question. Is winning the only thing to you?
Sports today are not just played on the field. They're played every day, online, all over the world, by sports fans just like you.
Don't you dare breathe. That won't get you anywhere. If you don't think you're a winner, you don't belong here.
The Star Fantasy League Show puts you in control of your own team. Find out who to sit, who to start, how to play, and have your daily fantasy sports questions answered with your host, Jonathan Sprung, and co-host SFL CEO Zach Stanley and Nick Steblenko. The Star Fantasy League Show is on the air now.
Hello and welcome to the Star Fantasy League Show here on 105.5 The Team in Rochester. I am your host, Jonathan Sprung, joined, as always, by SFL family member Matthew Footer. What up, Foot?
I somehow made it through the weekend and I'm back again, apparently. So I did get fired on Friday's show.
Yep, you did. Yep.
But I still am here, so I must be doing something right.
Somehow the man who has fired you several times before, Zach Stanley, is not on today's show. He's recovering. I think he's sobbing at home from a tough Bills loss. He thought they were going to go 16-0. It didn't happen. But Teddy Bear 2 is here. Nick Steblenko. What up, Nick?
I'm a sad panda today. I'm not even Teddy Bear 2.
Okay.
Just
sorry.
Panda.
Let me try that again. We'll put the intro in again. Sad Panda, Teddy Bear 2. Wait, no, am I not supposed to do both names? I don't know how to do this.
I don't know either. No, yeah, I mean, well, my team lost and I'm here. But my team lost badly and I'm here.
That is true. I'll be honest. I thought through one quarter last night, I was pretty sure my team was going to lose as well. Steelers did not look good in one quarter last night.
Yeah, but they certainly look good in the others.
They looked very, very good in the others. We're going to get to all of the games, surprises, setbacks, all that good stuff for Week 3 of the NFL season. But before we do that, I think we have to talk about Western New York's their baby, the Buffalo Bills, right?
I got to say, I think this is a classic Bills loss right here. This is a pretty classic loss. I think that.
Yeah, I don't really know what that means. Okay. I'm not used to watching the Bills just like implode. So I want to hear it.
This is usually how a Buffalo Bills season starts. It starts one of two ways. Either they start off horribly, like everybody thinks they're going to start off, and then magically they finish the second half of the season on like a 6-1 stretch.
Like hopeful, just
we did it. No. It's like they show up too late to the party kind of thing. Or they do what they're doing right now, and they start off so well that all of a sudden everybody gets really wide eyes and they get illusion or visions of grandeur, and then all of a sudden they just get smacked right in the mouth by a better team. That might have been what happened yesterday. I don't know.
I couldn't understand. Let's be honest. When Zach was on last week, he said, I think you said this too.
I thought they were going to win. I did think they were going to win. You gave
them a chance. I said that the 2.5-point spread, I had no idea how that team was favored. I still think that San Diego is one of the best 5 teams in football right now.
Well,
they looked really good. Their team played extremely well against Seattle. The first week, I told you, we may be undervaluing Arizona by a lot, and it turns out they're 3-0, and they look really, really good.
They're doing it with a backup quarterback, too, so that's a really big part of it. As far as San Diego goes, yeah, you might be absolutely right here. We could be seeing the top 5 talent that the Chargers have. Be a little wary of that, though, because the Chargers have been known to flip-flop quite a bit during the season, obviously. So, the Bills, I thought they had a chance because they had a couple of things going for them, but they really killed themselves with penalties yesterday. If they hadn't been shooting themselves in the foot all day, they actually might have been able to keep this game a little closer and possibly even kind of edge it out because their defense actually held them pretty well. At least they kept them respectfully within range.
Their defense is pretty good. Can you please explain to me, Footer, what was their game plan going in for Buffalo? Because it doesn't look like they even knew what they thought they were going to do in this game.
I honestly couldn't tell. But the past couple of weeks, they've obviously put a focus and emphasis on running the ball.
Shouldn't they? They have great running backs.
I completely agree. Week 1, it was 3 guys doing it. Last week, Spiller was the main guy, but Fred Jackson added it as well. This week, Spiller was 10 carries for 25 yards. Jackson, 6 carries for 34 yards.
Well, so how is that an emphasis?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
that's why
away from it.
That's why I'm saying. Like they've been putting an emphasis the first 2 weeks. Yesterday they didn't do that, and obviously they got the result that they didn't want. So to get back to Nick's point about the blowing up of the season or how the season starts, and this is a typical Bills start, he's completely right on that because they either start 0-5 or 0-8 a few years ago, and then they went 4-4, or they'll start 3-0 and then they finish the season 6-10. So this is going the same direction at this point. But I do agree, with John about how the Chargers have top 5 talent because it's what'd you say, 12-4?
I said 12-4, and you guys laughed at me. I think this is a 12-win team.
Technically, I wasn't part of the team at that point. I wouldn't have laughed. Well, I probably still would have laughed.
Yeah. Why? I know I'm in the minority here in picking them. I think they could win the West. I really do.
The reason that I really do think that their defense, I still have a lot of questions about. I don't know if they've really been challenged just yet. We'll see. I mean, they haven't really played anybody that blew me away offensively. I mean, Arizona, yeah, they do have that deep threat in Michael Floyd, but they didn't do a ton offensively. And maybe it's just that the Chargers defense is good. I don't know.
The second half of last season, I think it was in the last 9 or so games, they were a top 10 defense last season. It was the beginning of the year that everybody remembers how bad they were, and then in the playoffs they shut down Andy Dalton, and then they looked good against Denver as well. So this defense is just, they're on the uptick, and they haven't looked any worse.
As far as the offensive side of the ball goes, I think we all had questions about Antonio Gates. Is he good? Is he done?
He was definitely a little banged up this week.
Yep.
But Ladarius Green looked great.
Sure did. And then is Keenan Allen? Was Keenan Allen more of a flash in the pan, or was he? Is he really the superstar that he was made out to be? I don't think the jury's out on that just yet.
Yeah, I have an inconclusive reading.
Absolutely. On that. Malcolm Floyd, he's been hot. He's been cold. He's kind of all over the place. We know what kind of talent this offense has, but it's always been a question of consistency with the Chargers. Can they put together a 16-game season into the playoffs and then actually make it through a deep playoff run? They haven't been able to do that in recent years.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how things go with the loss of Woodhead now already. Ryan Matthews is out. Brown carried the ball 31 times. But
remember I said he's going to get the carries. It doesn't mean he's going to – well, obviously Buffalo's run defense, we said – probably going to shut him down anyways, but
very stout.
31 for 62, and he got 89 total yards. So from a fantasy perspective, that's not the worth. He got 5 catches.
No, yeah. So I'm interested to see how much more of an emphasis. I mean, Rivers only threw the ball 25 times yesterday.
Hey, that was a big surprise to me against the Bills defense.
But they were up most of the day.
Yeah,
that's why Brown ran the ball so much. I don't think he's going to get 31 carries every game. No. And if he's only averaging 2 yards per carry, that's not that good.
No. Yeah, but
that's not good at all.
They are playing some not so great defenses this season. So Buffalo, one of the better ones they will play.
I'm interested to see once they start getting into the it seems like whenever it's a division matchup, intensity comes out a little more. Interested to see. Looks like Kansas City might be bouncing back a little bit.
Sure. We'll get to that.
Denver put up a really good effort up in Seattle, so I'm interested to see the first time when they play them, how well that game's going to be. So.
Yeah, so we were talking about the Buffalo Bills, but somehow we managed to devolve into San Diego talk because I love that team a lot this season. But can we have any positive takeaways from this game for Buffalo fans looking forward going, oh, why are you guys talking about San Diego so much?
Well, I mean, how about the fact that they actually kept this game close, even though they really honestly weren't in that game for the most part? I mean, we're talking about, they were only down 12 points to a team that definitely controlled the flow of play the most part of the game. So I think that's kind of a positive. Obviously, we know their defense is solid. Their defense, I think, can match up with almost anybody in the league, and they can keep the game at least relatively close enough. I think the big question is E.J. Manuel making any big steps? Is he making any big steps as a quarterback? He did do a pretty good job, I think. He kept his completion percentage up over 50, which I know is not saying much, but he just needs to be able to make some of those throws down the field. He needs to be able to get the ball down the field, stretch the defense, and then they got to get back to running the ball.
Yeah, being at the game yesterday, I was able to kind of see, you can see more at the games than you can see on TV. Yeah. And to me, the play calling from the offensive coordinator, Nathaniel Hackett, he doesn't have the confidence in EJ throwing the ball downfield, which I'm surprised about because last week against Miami, they took a shot the fourth and fifth play against with Sammy Watkins, and Watkins wasn't able to come up with a catch in the end zone. But yesterday, they really didn't try anything downfield. So that just kind of shows that they don't have as much faith in him taking shots down the field. Maybe they feel like it's his arm strength, how he is reading the play, but it's unfortunate because it's kind of limiting what he can do on the field.
Well, but you can't expect to run the ball 16 times between your top 2 running backs and have him get any shots down.
Yeah, that
field.
Won't.
They're just not going to respect it. They're not going to respect the run. They're not going to push 8 guys up in the box. They're not going to give him man-to-man coverage on the outside. He's not going to get any of those looks. So for them to get that going at all, they have to stop running out of shotgun and pistol formation. They got to line up in a strong formation and pound the rock in between the tackles.
Yeah, I didn't understand that game plan when I saw these numbers. 16 carries is between 2 guys who can definitely rush for 100 yards apiece.
This should be one of the better running games in the league. It really should. It has been. They've been up towards the top in the run. They should be able to do it.
You know what? That's a perfect segue. Let's move on from yesterday's games to tonight's game. Chicago's playing the New York Jets and the number 1 rated rush game. Can you believe
defense?
that?
Yep.
No.
Rush defense or offense?
Offense. New York Jets are the number 1 rushing team in the league right now. Behind Chris Ivory. Yeah, can you believe?
My boy.
Oh, stop
My
it.
top. If you listen to Friday's show, I said he's going to be the top running back this week. So
Oh,
he's got a lot to
outta
do to pass
here.
Rashad Jennings.
Yeah,
but
we're gonna talk about that later in the show. All the top players, but yeah, this game's interesting because the New York. This is a tale of two halves for both of these teams last week. Chicago got down early, made a monster comeback against San Francisco, and the Jets jumped out to a big lead against Green Bay and kind of just said, "Nah, you got it. Have the game."
Yeah, I think Eric Decker being up in the air.
Yeah, that's a
makes
monster part.
Because the Jets, they really have looked good with Eric Decker and Geno Smith.
They have a connection,
well.
like an actual.
They certainly do.
I mean, if he's the top guy, we were worried about them giving him too much money. But you know what? If you got a connection, you're a number 1 guy. Have all the money you want. It does improve your team.
Something is working there, and the fact that they have a running game is actually it takes a ton of pressure off of Geno Smith because he doesn't have to make those 3rd and 9, 3rd and 10 throws like he was last year. Now he can make a 3rd and 4 or 3rd and 3.
Exactly, because Chris Ivory is averaging 6.3 yards per carry.
That's great.
That's disgusting through 2 games.
That's great. So, I mean, I think that I know they're going to have to put up some points tonight. I don't think that Chicago is going to try to run the ball a whole lot. I think they're going to kind of do something similar to what Green Bay did last week. Maybe give Forte somewhere in the neighborhood of like 12 to 15 rushes.
Yeah,
and then keep him more involved in the pass game.
He's still going to have 20.
Like
he's still going to have 20 touches.
He's one of the biggest parts of their offense.
Or at least targets somewhere around
easily,
there.
definitely. So I think that if the Jets are going to stay in this game, they're going to need to score at least 21 points. Probably more than that. I
was going to say, if Eric Decker is in fact out for this game, do you see any chance of New York being close?
If they can keep the ball, if they can create turnovers defensively and they can run the ball, then maybe. But Eric Decker being out does not bode well for them.
Yeah, their number 1 receiver, other than that, would be Jeremy Curley, who is a second banana.
Yeah, I would say he's a 3rd banana.
Well, I'm sorry, but they don't have a second banana to call. They just don't.
That's why they're all 3rd bananas.
Oh, that's sad.
They're just going bananas.
Can you imagine that? That was the entire New York Jets passing game last season. It was all 3rd bananas. They didn't have anybody. They had Kellen Winslow as their number 1 guy through
I still don't
5
understand.
weeks.
I don't understand why they didn't draft anybody earlier on. It doesn't make sense.
It's not like there were no wide receivers in this draft, though. There wasn't Marquise Lee or Kelvin Benjamin or Mike Evans or Sammy there were like 15 good receivers in this draft.
That's true.
Yeah.
What are the New York Jets doing?
It's a big game for the Jets because after this they play Detroit, at San Diego, and then Denver. So it's a huge game for them this week.
It's a huge game, but I'm sure the Jets will manage to screw it up because that's what they always do. All right, coming off the break, it is time for my favorite segment in the world. It's time for Jonald's Mailbag. And you listen to the Star Fantasy League show on 105.5 The Team.
The Star Fantasy League Show. Information is key to being a successful fantasy team owner, and the guys have all the updated info you need right now. Okay, fantasy sports fans.
There's a letter in your mailbox.
Time to dig into Jonald's mailbag for your questions and comments.
Read the mail, read the mail, read the mail.
Jump in the game. Send your questions and comments to the Star Fantasy League's team by tweeting at SFL Show.
We are back, and it is actually time for Jonald's Mailbag. I know on Friday you listeners hate when we just get rid of Jonald's Mailbag because it's all your favorite segment too. Tweet us at SFL Show if it is in fact your favorite segment. Hashtag Jonald's Mailbag.
Question number 1: why does Nick hate the Lions so much? Answer: because they stink.
Hold on, let me do this from a I believe I asked. Yeah, I asked the questions.
Oh, okay. Go ahead. Ask.
This isn't Teddy Bear's Panda Hour or whatever. What was your thing you wanted to do?
No, ask a question. Come
Sad Panda.
The first question is from.
Stink.
The first question is from Ling Ling the Panda. Why do you hate the Lions so much?
Because they just why did they have to do that?
See, my favorite part is when people get irrational about sports teams. Like, I can't answer like you. I can't answer rationally like, why do you hate the Ravens? I just hate the Ravens.
Yeah.
It just doesn't happen.
Boo.
I can't. First off, I cannot believe they pulled that game out yesterday against Cleveland. Literally, all they had to do was run 3 times and just run the clock out, and they're like, nah, have the ball back at the end of the game.
Here you go. Have a win. We don't want to win.
They didn't. They had 2 opportunities to just run the clock out, and I'm going to blame Johnny Manziel somehow for this, but
I mean, he did screw up that one play.
No, he did not screw that up. That was an awesome. Did you guys see that trick play?
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Did you see that?
Didn't he commit a penalty or something?
No. It was
Crowell, I think.
No, it was Terrence West that committed a penalty for not lining up correctly. But apparently it was an illegal play, but the refs didn't see it. Yeah, he was just like talking to the coach, getting yelled at. And everyone was like, "Oh no, he's in trouble!" But it turns out it was just a trick play.
Yeah, Kyle Shanahan's like, "Go, go!"
Yeah,
go.
I saw.
He's like, start telling him, and he
Yeah,
just takes off running, and Hoyer tosses him the ball wide
It
open.
was. They actually had a live look-in on the Red Zone channel for that play, even though it was A, not an actual play, and B, an illegal play. They're like, Johnny Manziel did something.
He's in there.
Let's show him on the Red Zone channel. It was a bit ridiculous. I'm not gonna lie. All right, let's get into the mailbag. There's no Johnny Manziel questions this week. Thank God for once he's not mentioned. All right, but you're going to like this one, Nick. Larry J. writes, Dolphins head coach Joe Philbin was reportedly non-committal when talking about the quarterback position in Miami.
So it begins.
Yeah, would it be wise to consider benching Tannehill this early in the season?
No. Oh, my goodness. This always happens with some young quarterback where he has 2 or 3 games where he maybe had a tough outcome, and then all of a sudden it's, is he even the guy? Is he the guy? Okay, yeah, go ahead. Put Matt Moore in and tell me that you're going to the playoffs.
Who?
Tell me you're going to win a Super Bowl, and tell me that you have a future with a quarterback like
Who
that.
the hell is Matt Moore?
Well, he played for the Panthers.
Yep,
He
I'm
was
well
a
aware.
backup there,
Yep.
so, okay.
He was a what there?
Yeah, he's a backup
Oh, okay.
quarterback.
That's
He's a
interesting.
perennial backup. They played a couple of good defenses so far. I thought Tannehill actually, his game against the Bills was completely flown under the radar because he actually didn't do that badly. It was probably one of his better statistical games of the season. Actually, it was. It was his best statistical game of the season. We're 3 weeks in. And you want him to be the savior already? I'm sorry. Yesterday he probably could have done a little bit better, but let's talk about Bill Lazor for a second and the fact that he barely ran the ball with Lamar Miller, who was gouging that defense. Absolutely gouging them. So why is he not on the hot seat? And my boy Ryan Tannehill is. Get off him.
Can I be the coach for a second?
Yeah.
I actually have the quotes that Joe filmed why this whole controversy came about.
Mm-hmm.
I hate these kind of quotes where it's just like, oh, things are happening. All right, listen to this quote. We'll decide our game plan before we leave to play Oakland. We'll utilize the players the best way we see fit. That just if there's a controversy, at least be like where there's going to be some talk. Apparently, there's a meeting going on, probably as this show is recording right now, to decide the fate in Miami. But what's the point of turning it over to a backup, journeyman quarterback?
I do think that they wasted an opportunity yesterday against the Chiefs. I thought that was a game that they really should have won.
Yeah, their defenses looked pretty bad this season, and then they looked good against Ryan Tannehill.
Yeah, they did have Koamisi was out. That was kind of a tough one for their defense. You can't lose a game like that at home and then blame it all on the quarterback. There's no reason that he should have thrown for more than 40 times yesterday. Lamar Miller was literally just huge holes up the middle. He was all over the place yesterday, and he rushed the ball, 15, 16 times? I can't understand that. I don't understand why you would say anything other than support for your quarterback in that situation.
I don't get it.
I don't either. I mean, like we said, Lamar Miller had 100 yards on the dot, I think, somewhere around there.
108, 15 carries. Just ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean
7.2 yards per carry.
Yeah, and they weren't down big at any point in that game, were they? It was just a fairly steady game.
It's disappointing. Well, not disappointing for them to lose because I'm a Bills fan, but
I was like, say it under your breath. No, I don't care.
No, but to be objective in this situation,
no such thing.
He's really not getting much help from his defense. If your defense isn't stopping, the offense, you're not going to be out there to be able to make plays. So I say that's where the issue is. Dolphins have had a lot of injuries already this season. It's hard to bounce back from big injuries. It'd be interesting to see how your Steelers bounce back from all the injuries that they suffered last.
I don't want to talk about it. Nobody got injured in that game. What are you talking about? I didn't see some guy's arm snap during the game. That didn't happen.
It was a perfect game then, right?
Ugh.
I just don't get how there's any controversy with a quarterback when he doesn't throw a single interception, throws for over 200 yards, and is forced to throw the ball 43 times in a game. So he didn't make any really stupid decisions where he actually came up.
It's like you said.
That's what I mean. I think this has more to do with play calling than it does to do with Ryan Tannehill. He actually has looked pretty good, and I still think he is going to be taking a huge step forward over the course of the season. They just need to stick to the game plan.
See, I think that's where the issue's coming out. Before the season, everybody said he's going to take a step forward. So if he doesn't take it right away, why didn't he take a step forward?
That's the problem. You're 3 weeks in.
And you beat the Patriots. Don't forget that part.
Yeah, they beat. Yeah, how about that? Nobody cares about that, right?
All right, we got to move forward before we spend the entire segment talking about Ryan.
We love you, Ryan.
I knew you'd take that stance. All right, moving on. Peter L. writes, Chris Harris of the Denver Broncos called Russell Wilson the best quarterback the team has faced ahead of Andrew Luck. Is this a fair assessment or just random noise?
No, I think you have to go straight on what these guys have done on the field. Don't necessarily have to look at stats. He is, I believe, 17-1 at home as a starter.
It's in the best stadium to play football in the league forever.
I agree with that completely.
He has a great defense behind him, but
one of the best defenses of all time behind him.
True, but he's
knocking you down right now. John's making a couple of good points here.
This is why you can't say put things around him. You have to take quarterback A versus quarterback B. If you put Andrew Luck in that situation, you don't think he'd have a Super Bowl ring right now?
Yeah, what I will say, though, is that this is actually becoming a discussion here.
Okay. I didn't say it's not a discussion. I just said I don't think you can be like, oh, yeah, Russell Wilson's ahead of him.
No. But at the same time, you have to kind of say what has transpired so far throughout their careers. Russell Wilson has a Super Bowl ring. That's something you can't ignore. That's what they said about Ben Roethlisberger, too. He has a Super Bowl ring. Once you get a Super Bowl ring, yes, now he has two. But I'm trying to draw the comparison between second-year quarterbacks.
I just had to point out that he has two.
So, anyways,
should have been three.
At some point, you do have to say, what type of player is he? Is he really a better overall quarterback? In passing situations, I don't think there's an argument here. Andrew Luck is a better passer overall.
And a better game manager.
I don't know about that.
He seems to be better at the line-reading defenses.
I don't know about that. I mean, I really think that there is a discussion to be had here because Russell Wilson doesn't make mistakes. He does manage the game pretty darn well because every time I see him under center, his team's going the right way. His team is always getting positive yards. He rarely will you see him take a loss for a huge yardage, I don't know. He's doing a really great job, and the guy's got the best attitude that you can expect out of any quarterback, especially somebody that's that young. So, I mean, skill-wise, maybe Andrew Luck is a better quarterback overall, but as a football player, there's a discussion there.
I really wish there was a way to compare quarterbacks without every other intangible. Like, what if Andrew Luck had a good running back? Like, that would be great.
He has
if
two.
You,
I don't
stop
know what you're talking
If
about.
you put Marshawn Lynch on this Indianapolis team,
it'd be the same.
You will stop speaking right now. You got in a Ryan Tannehill apologist statement, and you managed to get in a Trent Richardson apologist statement.
He had a pretty good game yesterday. I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm so tired of you right now. I can't even deal with this.
There was a couple plays yesterday in overtime where Russell Wilson needed to get the first down, 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9. He made sure he got it with his legs, which is something. Andrew Luck's a pretty good runner, but there's just something about what I've seen Wilson do on the field. He just manages to get, that play done at that certain time.
Yeah, you're right. He looks athletic when he's running as opposed to Andrew Luck, who looks like he's running away from something. Every time he runs, he's like, oh, God, someone's chasing me. Oh, God, someone's chasing me. And then he goes for 12 yards. Am I wrong there?
No.
He looks like he's running away from something.
Well, but I don't know. I mean, I just think that, we're kind of splitting hairs right here as far as quarterbacks go. These guys are both excellent. They're both really fun to watch, and they're both a heck of a lot better than RG3. So I think we can all
and he managed to get a negative statement about RG3, and wow, you are just taking over, John.
1, 2, 3, baby.
All right, let's get one more question and real quick to complain because this question bores the crap out of me. Mel S. writes, sorry, Mel S. Bud Selig is looking into speeding up the pace of play in Major League Baseball as early as next season. If you were in charge, what would you do to speed things up? I am tired. I'm sick and tired of these 4.5-hour random July and August Boston Red Sox against the Yankees games just because ESPN manages to put in 75 commercial breaks. I am tired of it.
Maybe you shouldn't be watching baseball, though.
I don't.
Right, so that's it. Here's my thing. You know what? The game of baseball is long, and it takes a while in between innings and in between plays and all sorts of stuff. That's just not the game for you then. It's just not.
No,
because the basic idea behind baseball is that it's a nice, lazy summer game, something you can go out with the family, get a couple of hot dogs and some sodas at the park, catch a few rays and watch some athletes.
That's not the thing here. I'm telling you, they did a statistic where the Red Sox and Yankees, whenever they play on national television, it's like an hour longer on average than every other game.
Well, what are you supposed to do about that? That's advertising money.
I don't think
it
is that. I just think I don't know what it is that causes just these two specific teams to play at such a slow pace.
So
Blame it on Ellsbury. It's probably Jacoby Ellsbury's fault.
It's probably the advertiser's fault.
It might be.
Because those games draw an enormous crowd, and that game draws an enormous amount of revenue for the league.
Even though, quick, how many games above 500 are they combined?
I would say
negative 30.
2.
There you go. It might honestly be that. I can't believe that the rivalry it goes above and beyond anything that happens on the field.
But I don't think you need to speed the game up.
That's one certain scenario where it takes extra long. Yeah, I agree. A lot of these games are over 3 hours. Where you watch an NFL game, it's 3 hours. You watch hockey or basketball, it's 2.5 hours. You're done. You can move on. There are a couple things that I would speed up, and it has to deal a lot with the hitters stepping out of the box each time. I think you could institute something where you can kind of warn the guys, stop taping up your gloves, doing this and that. Also with the pitchers as well, picking up the rosin bag, there might be limiting how many times you can do that each inning. That's something like you could do.
Well, Footer, you're going to have to speed up your argument because baseball just cut you off. All right, coming after the break, we are going to continue this conversation, possibly, and we're also talking about the biggest surprises from Week 3 of the NFL season. And you're listening to the Star Fantasy League Show on 105.5 The Team.
Play fantasy sports for cash prizes. Join the top daily and weekly fantasy leagues in the country at starfantasyleagues.com. Now, back to the Star Fantasy League Show with Jonathan, Zach, and Nick. Only on The Team.
Wrong. See what happens, Foot, when you don't speed things up in your arguments? You get kicked off the show and fired.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm finishing out the show, but, it'll be... See if I'll be back.
I don't think the voiceover guy thinks you're finishing the show. He just said Zach. Again.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
It's unfortunate.
I promise, if you speed up your arguments next time, Bud Selig won't come in and fire you.
Next time I'll just say yes.
Okay, perfect.
We'll go with that.
You know what? This show will be...
I don't know what it'll be about, but I'll just
exactly.
say yes.
Footer, am I right?
Yes.
Thank you.
Oh,
Appreciate
wow. I like how you did that. That was smart. Yeah, this show gets a lot more efficient.
Nice.
This show gets a lot more efficient and easier to produce if you just agree.
Yes.
That show would be really boring if it was the Star Fantasy League Show and agreeing.
Yes.
There you go. Thank you, Footer, for that. All right, we're not agreeing on any of this. We're talking about the biggest surprises and biggest disappointments from Week 3 of the fantasy season. That's right, fantasy season, not football season. I'm just calling it fantasy from now on.
Okay.
Is that cool?
Works. Yeah.
Are we all right with that?
That's cool with me.
There's real NFL anymore? I mean,
it's a National Fantasy League.
Yes.
I'm convinced that when I was watching the Steelers-Carolina game last night, I was like, man, I really wish I had Red Zone right now because everything's better when you get play and a play and another play and a touchdown and a field goal and punting.
I'll bet you also wish that you had Antonio Brown on your fantasy team.
Yeah, of course. Well, you don't think I like Antonio Brown?
No, I'm just saying he was. Did you think he was going to have a good week this week?
To be honest, it was possible if the Carolina front seven didn't get immense pressure on Ben because their secondary is actually not the greatest, but their front seven is one of the best in the league. So if they don't get pressure, they can be susceptible to what you saw happen on Sunday night. It's just anytime you don't get pressure on a quarterback and your secondary is not that good, things like Antonio Brown scorching you will definitely. Although, did you see the passes Ben was throwing to him, though?
Yeah.
These were things that only Antonio Brown could catch.
Yeah, there was that one play right near after that long run by Le'Veon Bell for the touchdown. Ben stepped back and looked at him right in the front pylon for the end zone, and he made that catch and just took it in. It was great pass by Roethlisberger.
Yeah, that's I'm not gonna lie, that I wasn't gonna talk about this as a surprise, but Pittsburgh's offense last night was a big surprise. I know their run game is probably gonna end up being top 5 overall this season, but man, LeGarrette Blount is one of the best complimentary backs in the league. He just, when you watch him run, you see in the fourth quarter him running?
Yeah.
He was barreling people over. Barreling, just destroying human beings.
He has certainly been a surprise, and I'm still kicking myself in the rear for letting him go.
Oh, you
Le'Veon Bell.
Oh, no, I said Blount.
No, I'm just saying their running game in general.
Oh, yeah,
It's absolutely... It's ridiculous. They're doing very well.
Yeah, they have. This is the whole thing. We weren't sure what kind of offensive line we were going to get in Pittsburgh because every single season somebody gets injured or 2 or 3 guys get injured, and the team just can't perform, missing half of their starting line.
If I'm correct, Bell never had a game over 100 yards last year, and he has 2 already through 3 weeks.
That's kind of impressive,
That's
I'd say.
really impressive. And, the second guy had 100 yards as well last night.
Yeah, they were 2 of the top 5 rushers for Week 3, on the same team.
Yeah.
That's a big problem. Mm-hmm. Especially if your Carolina and your front seven is supposed to be one of the best in the league. Oops. Got gouged a little bit.
Yeah,
they
pretty
certainly
much.
did.
All right, let's move on to one of the biggest surprises of the season so far, and it's how good Kirk Cousins looked. I know I saw somebody on Twitter.
You may begin.
Yeah.
Yes.
Why are you bowing? What?
No, I'm saying you.
Oh,
may
you're
bow.
taking praise. Oh,
Yes,
okay. I see
thank
what's
you.
going on here.
Thank you.
All right, I'm not gonna lie. I saw somebody mention on Twitter like how out of the box their pick of Kirk Cousins was this week on like one of their
That's
top.
dumb.
Yeah, I was like, have you not been listening to the Star Fantasy League show since the beginning of the year? We've been saying Kirk Cousins is going to play this year and he's going to be incredible.
Well, I mean, I would use that "we" term a little lightly. But,
Excuse me, I agreed with you that Kirk Cousins gave them the best chance to
No,
win.
listen. That's not out of the box. There was nothing out of the box about that at all.
Yeah, he was like 60% owned on Star Fantasy Leagues,
especially
too.
in your daily or weekly leagues where Kirk Cousins was extremely affordable. And anytime you can get a starting quarterback with just a starting quarterback at the price he was at, you're good to go there. As far as that game, though, I said before, Kirk Cousins has a couple of nice matchups. He had Philly, and then he next week he has
The Giants, I believe.
the Giants.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So there we go. So he's
Oh, no,
got,
that's Washington against the Giants next week. isn't it?
Yeah.
Who's Philly playing then?
well, I'm talking about Kirk
Oh,
Cousins
Kirk,
for the Washington
yeah.
Redskins.
Hold on,
Thursday night
I'm
was
moving
Thursday
away from the
night.
conversation.
So, and then after that, that's where I want to see what he's really made of. I want to see him play Arizona and Seattle. I want to see how he handles that kind of pressure, those kinds of defenses. The Giants didn't look bad yesterday, but they were playing at home against Houston, who was another one of those overhyped 2-0 teams. So, I mean, I loved what I saw. He did make a couple of mistakes, but I think you can start saying that he looks better in this offense than Robert Griffin does.
What do you mean start saying?
Well,
You're saying everybody else can
I
say
never,
it in public.
I never like to say that somebody is better all the way until you've seen it, but I just there was no way that this match was not a match made in heaven. Kirk Cousins is a stand in the pocket quarterback with Jay Gruden, who loves a pocket passer. It just works.
Well, and the pieces make sense, too. He has a nice big pass-catching tight end in, not currently Jordan Reed, but
he has one either way.
Niles Paul has looked good. They've had a nice connection so far.
And how about Pierre Garçon? Weren't we ready for this? Weren't we waiting for this?
Last season, he had that stupid foot injury that he looked amazing in week 1 and then was never really the same. But like I said,
he catches a ton of passes. 11 catches for 138 and a touchdown.
and
yesterday.
Deshaun Jackson managed to get 100 in that game as well.
So, I mean, this is an offense that is going to grow. They're going to blossom. This is not a surprise to me, though. No, this is not a surprise. Kirk Cousins has been a good quarterback. He was a great quarterback in college, and he was going to be a good quarterback in the NFL once he got his shot. He's gotten his shot. Let's see if he can continue.
All right, I'll go for a nice little surprise then. This one's a little out there. Who'd you have as the best rusher this week, before the week? Who'd you think it was going to be?
I had DeMarco Murray.
Yeah, I think everybody had DeMarco Murray. He's had 500 total rushing yards in 3 performances against St. Louis in his career. Went 24 for 100 and a touchdown. That's what everyone expected. But the number 1 rusher of the week was, wait for it, Rashad Jennings.
How about that?
How the heck did he do that?
Well, now come on. Now you got to be honest that he
Against
was supposed.
Houston?
We've been waiting to see a little bit more out of Rashad Jennings in this offense. He's been involved in the passing game, but I think it's more because they've been behind in most games, so they're checkdowns. But he's a big back. We know that he can run the ball well. I wasn't expecting 170-something yards against this team, but it's nice to see. And it's also nice to see that this offensive line isn't so unbelievably god-awful that we're never going to see some offense out of New York.
Yeah, it was interesting to see that Eli Manning was making somewhat smart decisions yesterday.
Wait, hold. No. Stop that. Somewhat smart decisions? Stop it. You just gave him credit. Don't give Eli Manning any credit on this show.
This is a shout out for Seth, who's trying to still pull that.
Exactly.
that
I thought you were going to
Eli
mention Larry Donnell before you mentioned Eli Manning. Again, had a pretty decent outing.
Yeah,
He's the man.
he did. I mean, Jennings has been an effective back even when he was with Oakland, in a terrible offense. So I was expecting this. I was kind of kicking myself. A lot of my leagues, I benched him in favor of Bobby Rainey last week because I was really high on Bobby Rainey. Proved me wrong. So I not making that mistake, again by benching Jennings. So
no, Rashad Jennings. I don't think you should expect 100 yards every week, but you should have him in there as a mid to low end top tier running back. I really do. I think you should have him as an RB1.
I'll say if he is your RB2 and you have one of the top guys in there, we really need to talk about, huh?
I think you're looking good.
Yeah. We need to talk about. I'm gonna jump around a little bit here because there's just a lot going on. But you mentioned high level RB1, and I talk about the guys at the top. Everybody's drafting in the first round. What the hell is going on with the guys you drafted in the first round? How many of them right now are productive backs? 2?
Okay, so we're talking about the top 5, right? So
No, I'm talking about literally like picks 1 through 12, basically because Le'Veon Bell got pushed way out. You can't even include him now. I'm including guys like Eddie Lacy.
Okay.
Doug Martin was probably a little later than that, though.
I want to address Eddie Lacy real quick. You need to wait. Keep waiting on this because Eddie Lacy literally just went up against 3 top 10 rushing defenses in the first 3 weeks.
And conference matchup.
Exactly. So hang on. Don't start throwing him out just yet because I think he's going to be fine. He's still going to get goal line touches. He's going to get a ton of work. He'll be good to go. Jamal Charles, injury, you can't predict that. Adrian Peterson, can't predict what happened to him. LaShawn McCoy, on the other hand, has been a big question mark for me. He hasn't gotten as much as he did last year. Darren Sproles has eaten into some of his passing game work.
Good.
And looked really good. So I'm a little bit curious, did we miss this one as the top guy again? I mean, he really has raised a big question mark for me. Matt Forte, I think he's fine, and we haven't seen what he's going to do this week against the number 1 rushing defense in New York. So the other guys, though, yeah, we're a lot of sad stories here at the top.
I'm going to give McCoy a little bit of benefit of the doubt based on yesterday's game because he did suffer a head injury and missed a good chunk of the game.
He was out for a little bit in that game, right?
Yeah, they let him come back in the fourth quarter. That game wasn't really a run-focused game as both teams were just slinging the ball all over the place.
True.
So I'll give him the benefit of the doubt for that one. Monte Ball up against Seattle's defense. He's been pretty good the first 2 weeks, had a disappointing game yesterday. So, I'm not too worried about him. But like you said, the other guys, if you waited on guys like Le'Veon Bell,
DeMarco Murray,
Gio,
Marshawn Lynch. I passed on him. I'm sorry. I got to give credit to John on this one. I passed on Marshawn Lynch. He looks everything, and he looks like he's still that much better than last year.
So here's the thing.
He's doing amazing.
If you're not taking a running back that can also do something in the passing game in the first round, you're doing something wrong now, right? Because it seems like all the guys that are getting the consistent 12-plus fantasy points every single week are the guys like Gio who can catch out of the backfield.
Absolutely.
If you're not catching balls and you get, 20 carries for 60 yards and no touchdown, it's garbage. It will ruin your fantasy week, right?
Even Lynch has factored in a little bit more in the passing game. I mean,
wait, I thought his career was over according to most people. He's done. He's too old.
According to me. It was.
No, a lot. Let's be honest. You were in the majority there, though. I was personally in the minority because I saw him slipping to the third round, which is just stupid.
Yeah, I agree. Like if you made sure to take the gamble on Marshawn Lynch, he's the guy that you took that leap in the first round, second round. You have to stick with him the rest of the year. I know a lot of people are trying to bail on because of the touches he's had, things like that. The one thing I will get back to LaShawn McCoy about these guys who are doing more than running the ball, they're also catching the ball out of the backfield. McCoy's a very good receiver out of the backfield, catches a lot of balls. So that is one thing that's concerning, the way Nick Foles is slinging the ball around, that he isn't really a factor in that sense. So.
Well, I mean, he does. Man, Nick Foles, I thought he wouldn't have that many weapons. I thought they were going to take a little bit of a step back, but we saw a nice little rookie there, Jordan Matthews. Again, New York, what are you doing? Why aren't you drafting a rookie wide receiver? There's another receiver that was good this year.
What do you mean?
The Jets didn't take somebody. I just said Jordan Matthews is good. He's looking pretty good.
No, you're right. He did. He looked pretty good. I mean, this was the first game that we really saw a big game out of him. But as Footer already explained, this was a game where they were shooting the rock all over the place. So, I mean, it's good to see for them. We'll see how it pans out the rest of the season.
Yeah, I have a feeling on tomorrow's show we're going to be breaking down the waiver wire for Week 3. I'm not so sure that he's a long-term guy, Jordan Matthews.
No, I don't either. I mean, I think you get these types of guys all throughout the season where they have one big week and then everybody wants to ride on their coattails. So
yeah, I have one name. I have one name that personifies that. His name is Eddie Royal.
I was gonna say Kevin Ogletree, but
oh God, no! We're not talking. No, just get that out of your memories. We're not mentioning Kevin Ogletree ever again on this show. All right, coming after the break, we are continuing to talk about the biggest surprises from Week 3 of the fantasy season, and you listen to the Star Fantasy League show on 105.5 The Team.
You're listening to the Star Fantasy League Show. Contact the StarFantasyLeagues.com guys via Twitter at SFL Show.
We are back, and if you were bitten by the injury bug in Week 3 in season-long contests, you know what the best remedy for being bitten by the injury bug is?
I don't. Can you tell me? Are you about to tell me?
This sounds like
you're just supposed to say yes.
Yeah.
Can we go over this?
What is the best remedy? Yes.
There you go. Yeah. What is the best remedy? Yes? No, the best remedy for season-long injury bug is to play daily fantasy football on StarFantasyLeagues.com. You know why? Don't say yes. Do you know why?
Say yes.
Yes, why?
Okay, perfect. It's because we have over 15,000 in guaranteed prize pool contests for Week 4. They're in the lobby right now at starfantasyleagues.com, and we're also still offering a 100% to $2,000 bonus code and an $11 credit directly into your account. Free14, FREE14. The bonus code hasn't changed. The bonus amount hasn't changed. Why aren't you using it yet? Why aren't you using it?
You told me I couldn't.
Okay, I'm talking to our listeners right now. This is the radio.
I'm listening to you.
This is the radio
Yeah,
where
you're all over the place, John. I don't even know what to expect anymore.
When you look at me and you talk to me, I think you're talking to me. So
that is
confusing.
That is really funny when because we do switch people in and out. Some people are like, "Oh, if you're looking at me, that means you're speaking directly to me, right?" No, I just look at everybody. I like to engage. It's a conversation. The people that are on the radio and they look down or they look at the wall while they're talking, those people are annoying. I don't like that.
What are you saying?
You look at me when we're talking, so I'm not talking about you.
Right now I'm looking at you.
Yeah, now
You just said something that I might not approve of.
I'm going to look at Nick, but talk to John right now. So.
All right. This show has gone completely off the rails. Quickly, let's touch on some more surprises from Week 3. There's an elite receiver in Houston that Ryan Fitzpatrick likes, and I don't think it's the right guy.
Yeah,
No, it's not.
No, the top play for me last week was Andre Johnson, and it was not Andre Johnson. It was,
Yeah, that's both a disappointment and a surprise at the same time. DeAndre Hopkins looked good, 6 for 116. Andre Johnson, how many?
I didn't see him on the stats.
Yeah.
But let's just put it that way. He wasn't on the front page in the top 50.
He came up with 6 fantasy points. That's what he did.
That's sad.
Yeah,
And that's probably PPR too, right?
Yep.
Oh, that's sad. Not
Very
a
sad.
not a good
6
number.
catches for
Not
6
cool.
yards.
Not cool.
Not a fan. Yeah, I mean, I kind of thought Ryan Fitzpatrick would actually be good for that offense, but he can't really throw the ball that deep. What's he doing?
We knew that. We talked about that before the season.
But DeAndre Hopkins caught a nice little 30-yard pass. That wasn't 50.
That's cool.
He actually made one amazing catch that they actually had to bring back, that
Yep.
one-handed catch. That was like a 60-yard pass right there. So,
Was it really that deep?
It was deep. Like, it was near the 30.
Oh, no wonder he couldn't throw the rest of the game because his noodle arm was out. He just went, okay, we're good. No, that one didn't count. Bring it all back. 6-yard dink and dunk.
Yeah, pretty
Not
much.
for nothing, but Peyton Manning has somewhat of a noodle arm now since he's gotten older. He can throw the ball.
Well, to be fair, he also has 74 weapons that can vary from 2 yards to 100 yards.
Actually, speaking of that, Emmanuel Sanders was a pretty big surprise yesterday. Wouldn't you say? Against Seattle?
Amazing segue. I like
What?
that.
I don't want to talk about Emmanuel. Why do you keep bringing? I actually looked at his drop percentage last season to see if I was right or if I'm just a rational Steeler fan. He only dropped 3 balls last year, but to be fair, no. To be fair, they don't really. The stats aren't right because a lot of people claim they only drop like 1 or 2
they're not
balls.
right because they don't fit John's somewhat screwed up scenario.
All right, you know what? I've moved on from being a Steeler fan. I don't hate Emmanuel Sanders anymore. I hate John Brown for fumbling.
Well, he caught 11 yesterday for 149 against the Legion of Boom. So
Don't you say it like that.
I hate them. I don't like them at all.
Oh my
They
God.
stink.
What do
They
you-
get every tough opponent at home, and then they still find a way to eke out a win in overtime.
Yeah,
you
that's-
stink.
That's another one of those games where how did that get close?
Boo.
I'm not gonna lie, I turned it off.
Because Denver's defense.
I turned it off because they were in on their other side of the field. Just had to run it a couple times.
Oh, and
they
how
managed
about
not to do it.
Zach's Demarius Thomas call? That was
Yep.
great. Nice
Yep.
call. Nice call.
Congratulations
Way to
to
go.
Zach. Play on StarFantasyLeagues.com. Week 4, we got over 15,000 in guaranteed prize pools, and you can complain about why your favorite player is not doing what they should.
I do it all the time.
That is true. All right, and if you're like Zach and you go out on a limb and pick Demarius Thomas as your winner of the week, you're just doing fantasy wrong. Take it easy, guys.